The top stories tonight in Y News. Pilot face-to-face classes may start in the next 2 months, says the Department of Education.
The Department of Health discourages Comelec's plan to conduct antigen testing on personalities who will file their certificate of candidacy in October.
Over 3,000 families are affected by the granular lockdowns in different areas as the National Capital Region enters its 5th day of Alert Level 4, according to the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority. Reconciliation between the warring factions of the ruling party PDP-Laban is considered next to impossible as the election draws near.
Isambayan considers Vice President Leni Robredo and Manila City Mayor Isko Dumagoso as its possible standard bearers in the 2022 elections.
Toowoomba, the garden city of Queensland, is in full bloom for this year's Flower Festival. Good evening, Philippines and the world. We are now reporting live from Quezon City. Today is Monday, September 20, 2021. I'm Herline Delgado.
Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the country and in other parts of the world. I'm Angelo Castro III.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media accounts and our website, untvweb.com. I am William Theo.
First in the news. The Philippines allowed in-person learning in low-risk areas for COVID-19. According to the Department of Education, it may start in 2 months' time. Rosa Licos reports why.
After 1.5 years of closure, 100 public and 20 private schools in areas considered low risk for COVID-19 by the Department of Health will soon be opening for in-person learning. This after President Rodrigo Duterte approved the pilot testing of limited face-to-face classes.
Kinakailangan na nating mag-pilot ng face-to-face dahil ito po hindi lang issue ng edukasyon, issue na rin po ito ng health, mental health ng ating mga kabataan at issue na rin po ito ng ekonomiya kasi baka meron tayong henerasyon na mawala dahil wala po tayong face-to-face.
However, Education Secretary Leonor Bliones could not give the exact date as to when the pilot run would start, but she was able to mention about the possibility of having it done in 2 months' time.
Na-inspect na din namin yung aming facilities, Poksari, kasi kung hindi appropriate, hindi din namin yan papayagan. So, in 2 months' time, hinahanda na pati ang curriculum, etc. Kasi matagal na namin itong pinag-iisipan at alam namin kung anong ginagawa din sa ibang bansa.
Participating schools should have passed the DepEd's readiness assessment. Local government units should express support to the dry run. Parents should issue a written consent for their children who will join the program. Safety protocols will be strictly implemented as well as contingency measures in case of exposure or infection. 12 learners are allowed to participate in kindergarten, 16 in grades 1 to 3, and 20 learners in technical vocational students in 5 senior high schools. Classes in kindergarten to grade 3 will be conducted for a maximum of 3 hours, while 4 hours in senior high school. The limited in-person instruction will be conducted every other week and will also be incorporated with blended learning. Participating teachers and staff are not required to be vaccinated. Furthermore, President Duterte has allowed school staff and teachers 65 years old below with no medical condition to participate in the program regardless of their vaccination status. If the dry run will be successful, DepEd will determine if more schools can hold limited in-person learning. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the Department of Education will not tolerate any form of cheating in distance learning. This was Education Secretary Leonor Briones' reaction to reports that students share answers to their modules and other learning materials through online platforms. DepEd is already taking steps to address this problem. She also encourages parents to help and guide their children.
We are now seeking the assistance of the authorities in tracing, no? Kasi mayroon naman talagang may questions kasi dyan at saka may key tayo for the answered questions. Kung na-leak ba yan o napunta sa mga estudyante o nagkopyahan, kailangang imbestigahan natin yan.
Meanwhile, the health department does not recommend the use of antigen tests for individuals who will be filing their certificates of candidacy for the coming election. Isko Miguel will tell us why.
The Department of Health reiterated that there's a proper use of rapid antigen tests in the country. This is in response to the Commission on Elections plan to set up an antigen testing booth at the venue, where the filing of the certificate of candidacy in October will be held. This will be for those who will fail to present a reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction test or RT-PCR negative test result. But under the DOH COVID-19 management protocol, this test should only be used to those with high viral load or with flu-like symptoms. Likewise, in individuals who have been exposed to a COVID-19 positive patient or living in areas with clustering of cases or surge.
We do not recommend the rapid antigen test kits to be used as a screening test for people who will vote or for people who's going to join events. Kaya nga sabi po natin last week, kailangan appropriate yung use para wala tayong question as to the results that will come out if ever we use it.
Undersecretary Vergeres said they will be coordinating with the Comelec for the observance of appropriate testing protocols.
Makikipag-ugnayan din tayo because ang Comelec naman po nakikipag-ugnayan sa atin, nakikipag-usap po sila sa amin tungkol sa mga health protocols. Kasama po rin naman po kami nagbibigay ng mga recommendations. So we will be discussing this with them para po appropriate na mga testing protocols ang maisagawa natin sa ganitong mga events na ito.
Comelec announced last time that those running for president, vice president, senator, party list representative, as well as their companions must present a negative COVID-19 test result before entering the hotel tent in Pasay City. Isko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
In other news, the local government of Taguig City announced that they will continue to provide free reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction or RT-PCR testing for its residents. This despite the new quarantine alert level system in Metro Manila. Taguig City Mayor Lino Cayetano says getting tested is essential in controlling the spread of the virus. Taguig conducts about 8,000 free RT-PCR tests a day.
The Department of Health reports 85.3% or 319 of the recent samples sequenced are Delta variant cases. As of now, there are 3,027 Delta cases in the country. This is higher than the 2,734 Beta cases and 2,436 Alpha cases. Based on the latest data, most of the detected Delta cases are from Region 2, Caraga, and Calabarzon region.
Of the 12,530 sample sequence assigned with a lineage as of September 18, 24.2% of samples were positive for the Delta variant. This variant is now the most common lineage among sequence samples as of the latest whole genome sequencing run.
The government assures the public that the country will have sufficient supply of booster shots. This is in case the health experts approve the administration of additional protection against the virus. Meanwhile, the National Task Force Against COVID-19 clarifies that the COVID-19 vaccine brand the national government wants to have a secure supply of is Pfizer. Last night, an additional 3 million doses of Sinovac and over 2 million doses of Pfizer vaccines arrived in the Philippines. A total of over 62 million doses of different brands of COVID-19 vaccines have arrived in the country since February 2021. Meanwhile, NTF is confident that a large percentage of the country's population will be vaccinated against COVID-19 before the upcoming holiday season.
On track pa rin tayo. People still remain very optimistic na kakayanin pa rin natin na magkaroon ng mas maayos na Pasko ngayong taon na to.
As of September 19, 2021, there are already 18,560,409 fully vaccinated Filipinos, or equivalent to over 24% of the target population.
Up next in Y News. Senator Cynthia Villar remains as the richest senator in the country.
Reconciliation between the warring factions of the ruling party PDP-Laban is considered next to impossible as the election draws near.
COVID-19 cases in the Philippines may peak by October, says the Department of Health.
For those watching our 24/7 live streaming on YouTube, please click the subscribe button you see on your screen and ring the bell for notification. You may also follow us on Facebook.
The rift between the warring factions of the ruling party PDP-Laban continues. This as the faction led by Energy Secretary Alfonso Cusi believes the National Assembly yesterday was illegal and also a drama. Arlene Delgado will tell us why.
Attorney Melvin Matibag of the Cusi-led faction of PDP-Laban believes reconciliation between the groups is impossible for now. This comes a day after the Pimentel-led group proclaimed Senator Manny Pacquiao as its standard-bearer in the 2022 elections.
I think we're beyond that already. We extended a lot of courtesy to them, a lot of invitation to talk, but despite of that, hindi maganda yung mga naging respond. Tapos publicly, marami ng mga sinabi si Senator Pacquiao at criticize yung administration. Iba na yung linya ni Senator Pacquiao. He's already campaigning like an opposition candidate.
Matibag adds that the National Assembly came as no surprise, calling it a drama and illegal. However, Pimentel called Matibag as a good bluffer. In the National Assembly yesterday, Pimentel also said before its members that they will not allow the other faction to hijack the party. Matibag adds they will continue to wait for Senator Bongo's decision as the standard-bearer of the group. This as he clarified that there was no talks between the group and former Senator Bongbong Marcos, who was eyeing to run for a national position. Go has repeatedly said that he is not interested to run for the presidency. Arlene Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the political opposition Isambayan is eyeing Vice President Leni Robredo and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso as the group's possible standard-bearer in the upcoming 2022 polls. Dante Amento tells us why.
Isambayan convener and former Commission on Human Rights Chairperson Loretta Ann Eta Rosales has named Vice President Leni Robredo and Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso as the group's strong contenders in the 2022 elections. Rosales said they will decide and reveal their nominees or endorsement within this month.
Within Sambayan, malakas yung they're not hindi sila isa lamang ang gusto. It's also divided, no? Pero malakas yung mga pro VPL, Vice President Leni, pero meron ding Isko, no, na lumalabas doon. Kaya it's going to be a matter of days na lamang na ginagawa ito. But kailangan, it's just going to be an endorsement because we cannot come up with somebody kung halimbawa hindi naman pala siya tatakbo.
But Rosales also clarifies that nothing is final yet and that they are still conducting a selection process. Aside from Robredo and Dumagoso, they are also considering Senator Manny Pacquiao of the PDP-Laban, though he has already announced his plans to run as president.
Anybody is kasama sa proseso na basta they're willing to dialogue. Nakipag-dialogue na rin si Isko, nakipag-dialogue na rin si Leni. Si Pacquiao is willing to dialogue also. Willing din siya na makipag-dialogue. Although he came out already with his wanyap.
Vice President Leni Robredo earlier said she is ready to file her certificate of candidacy for president if chosen by a united opposition. Isang Bayan aims to have a unified opposition slate for national candidates from president down to the senators against the administration candidates in the 2022 polls. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Senator Cynthia Villar remains the richest senator in the country. Based on the 2020 Statement of Assets, Liabilities, and Net Worth released by the Senate, Villar declared a total net worth of 3.8 billion pesos. She is followed by boxing champ turned Senator Manny Pacquiao with 3.1 billion pesos net worth. Senate President pro tempore Ralph Recto places third with 581 million pesos, followed by Senate Majority Leader Juan Miguel Zubiri, Senators Bong Revilla, Sani Angara, Senate Minority Leader Franklin Drilon, Grace Poe, Sherwin Gatchalian, and Senate President Vicente Soto III. In the 11th spot is Senator Pia Cayetano, followed by Senators Richard Gordon, Lito Lapid, Francis Tolentino, Nancy Binay, Panfilo Lacson, Coco Pimentel, Amy Marcos, Ronald De La Rosa, Joel Villanueva, Kiko Panghilinan, Bongo, and Risa Ontiveros. Senator Laila de Lima recorded the lowest net worth with 9.5 million pesos. The Davao City local government might extend the implementation of the fully operational work-from-home scheme for their employees if a COVID-19 case continues to increase in the country. However, Davao LGU assured that there will still be a system within the departments so that services will not be delayed. Janice Inhente details why live. Yes, Janice, what is the current number of COVID-19 cases in Davao?
Diego, COVID-19 cases in Davao City are still increasing. As of September 19, there are about 9,728 active cases in the city. In addition, private and public hospitals are almost full of COVID-19 patients. Even the ward and ICU beds in Southern Philippine Medical Center or SPMC, which is the largest COVID-19 referral hospital in the city, are almost fully occupied. That is why health workers in the city calls on the local government to do something to reduce the cases. On September 8, Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio issued Executive Order Number 44 or Mandatory Work from Home and Skeleton Workforce Arrangement to all Davao City Hall employees. It is effective until September 26. Dakila Castillo, a field inspector of the City Assessor's Office, said, although mandatory work from home scheme is a big adjustment for them, it is also better to prevent them from contacting COVID-19 infection.
Katulad ko po, nag-i-inspection kami ng mga bahay for taxation purposes. Pagkatapos namin mag-inspection, dinadala na namin sa bahay. Hindi na po kami pwede mag-standby sa office. Ng bagong ibinaba sa amin, sa department head namin, mga 10 katao lang ang pwedeng may laman sa office. Yun po ang nagre-receive ng papeles. Then yung nire-receive na papeles naman, work from home, gawin dito sa bahay. Pag natapos, agad-agad, kinabukasan, sinasabit namin sa office.
Aside from city government offices, the executive order also covers barangay and regional government offices.
It is something that we need to do. It is our contribution din sa ato ang mga workers, din sa sulod sa mga hospitals who are tired, who are overworked. We endeavor to reduce the infections among city government of Davao employees para if there is a reduction of infections among our employees, we are less of a burden.
The order exempts personnel of the vaccination program, COVID-19 response, solid waste management program, implementation project, and emergency response. But if the case of COVID-19 in the city continues to increase, it is possible for Davao City LGU to extend its implementation. Diego, although most local government employees are in a work-from-home scheme, Davao City LGU still assured the public that this will not be a reason for delaying the services of their offices. Diego?
Thank you for that report, Janice Inhente.
The reproduction number in the National Capital Region decreased to 13% in the last 7 days, while the reproduction number in the whole country is also now at 1.14. But the DOH said this does not mean that cases are on a downward trend.
Previous projections done by Faster with the STWG on data analytics estimated the peak in daily cases in NCR to occur towards the end of September or early October. This delayed peak may be due to a slowdown in the case increases brought on by implemented community quarantine restrictions, improvement of PDITR, and vaccination.
Country is still at high risk for COVID-19 classification, including 12 regions having over 70 to 90% hospital beds, mechanical ventilator, and ICU utilization rate. 97 areas, including the whole National Capital Region, are on alert level 4. The Philippines today recorded 18,937 additional COVID-19 cases, the Department of Health or DOH said, bringing the total tally to 2,385,616. The DOH said the latest tally pushed the country's active cases to 176,850. Of these cases, 92.7% are mild, 2.7% are asymptomatic, 2.61% are moderate, 1.4% are severe, and 0.6% are in critical condition. Meanwhile, total recoveries climbed to 2,171,832 after 20,171 more patients survived the disease. The death toll rose to 36,934 with 146 new fatalities. The DOH noted that 5 laboratories failed to submit data on time. Meanwhile, the overall global COVID-19 caseload has topped 228.5 million. While the deaths have surged to more than 4.6 million, according to the Johns Hopkins University. The U.S. is the worst hit country with the highest number of cases and deaths at 42,087,485 and 673,765 respectively, according to the CSSE. In terms of infections, India follows with 33,478,419 cases and 445,133 deaths. In terms of deaths, Brazil comes next to the U.S. with 590,752 fatalities and 21,239,783 cases.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority records over 3,000 families affected by the implementation of granular lockdown in the National Capital Region. Meanwhile, gym owners appeal to the Department of Trade and Industry to allow their operation even on limited capacity under Alert Level 4. Asher Kadapan Jr. details why live. Asher, go ahead.
The local government units in Metro Manila have been strictly imposing granular lockdowns to small areas with at least one COVID-19 case. Metropolitan Manila Development Authority Chairman Benhar Abalos Jr. explains that this will help balance both the health of the citizens and the economy. Abalos further explains that this measure immediately immobilizes possible carrier of the disease, which lowers the risk of its transmission while allowing those who are not infected to continue with their livelihood. Based on the data by the MMDA, most of the areas under granular lockdown are households reaching to over 800, followed by units totaling to about 100. It affects almost 3,100 families across the national capital region. The MMDA asks discipline from the public, explaining that this effort should be a shared responsibility between the LGUs and the residents.
Kung may sakit kayo, na-lockdown kayo, o kaya na-lockdown kayo, wag naman kayo magalit kung sabihin ni Mayor, bawal kang lumabas. Dahil once lumabas ka, hindi mo alam kung carrier ka. Paglabas mo, kawawa ang pamilya mo, asawa mo, anak mo, at kakalat na naman to. Yun ang sinasabi ko, yung pang-unawa ng bawat isa.
Despite the increasing number of areas under granular lockdown, Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque says there has been no negative reports yet about its implementation. The Philippine National Police also says that around 300 police officers and almost 500 force multipliers are keeping close watch in the areas under granular lockdown, while the PNP also confirms that the enforcement of the alert level system in Metro Manila has been orderly so far and has received good feedback. The Department of Health, on the other hand, explains that they cannot yet say if the alert level 4 in Metro Manila will extend or otherwise. Meanwhile, gym owners appeal to the government to allow them to operate under 10% indoor capacity, same as restaurants and personal care services. They explain that it is just about time that the resumption of their operation is considered, even under limited capacity, to help thousands of citizens who depend on it.
But what really hurts the industry is when we have a wavering opening and closing. So that's the biggest challenge. Staff go back to the province, members are off their routine for a while, and so getting back into operations is the biggest impact. So really what we're looking for is a steadfast policy around how we can maintain operations safely.
With this, some gym owners have proposed additional safety health measures against COVID-19 transmission within their operation. The Department of Trade and Industry, on their part, expressed their commitment in receiving or reviewing the gym owners' proposal to come up with a recommendation to the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases.
Tulad ng outdoor exercise, sila ay importanteng exercise, pampataas ng immunity ng mga kababayan natin. So, it's also important nga naman na talaga kung gusto nating maging healthy ang ating kababayan, i-allow yung exercise, indoor and outdoor.
Diego, the DTI and the MMDA inspected one of the largest gym companies in the metropolis today and find that their proposed measures are good but will be reviewed accordingly. Diego?
Thank you, Asher Kadapan Jr., reporting live from Quezon City. Philippine National Police Chief Police General Guillermo Eleazar orders the PNP Training Service to conduct regular gun safety and marksmanship training for all police uniformed personnel. This is part of continuous efforts to further enhance the shooting skills, particularly those who are assigned on the ground. General Eleazar explained owning and carrying service firearms every day comes with responsibilities that includes when to use them. This comes after the incident in Tondo, Manila last Thursday, wherein Police Corporal Oliver Ferrer was toying with his gun and accidentally shot and killed a delivery rider.
Bilang bahagi ng ehensya ng pamahalaan na pinagkakatiwalaan at binigyan ng kapangyarihan ng taong bayan na magdalang baril araw-araw, nararapat lamang na tiyakin natin na ang konsepto ng responsible gun ownership ay nasa puso at isip ng ating mga pulis. At kabilang dito ang sapat na kasanayan sa paggamit nito para maiwasan ang mga aksidente at matiyak na sulitin ang tiwala ng ating mga kababayan na gagamitin ang aming service firearms sa tamang dahilan.
The Civil Service Commission and Job Street Philippines launched today a week-long online job fair that offers more than 2,000 government jobs nationwide. JP Nunez reports.
To lessen the number of Filipinos unemployed and boost their morale, the Civil Service Commission and Job Street Philippines brought together job seekers and hiring government agencies in a virtual career fair. 2,660 government jobs will be up for grabs from 160 agencies participating across the country. Applicants may apply from different selection of government positions such as customer associate, revenue officers, medical officers, jail officers, administrative assistant, attorney, guidance counselor, administrative officer, medical specialist, account assistant, and IT specialist, among others. Anyone may apply, including persons with disability and indigenous people.
Depende rin ho sa position, but general rule, kailangan ho ang education ninyo, training, experience, and eligibility. Kung may general rule, yung exception po natin ay yung hindi kinakailangan na eligibility.
Interested candidates may register by visiting the Job Street link, then sign up using your email. Applicants will receive a message through email or text on the assessment of the employer or if there are documents that are needed to be submitted. Meanwhile, Commissioner Eileen Lizada encourages other government agencies to open regular jobs for contract employees.
Marami hong job orders, marami pong contract of services na nasa gobyerno pero hindi kinikilala ang government employee. Yun ho yung masakit. Nasa loob na ho sila pero hindi natin sila kinikilala. And as far as I know, there are 100,000 plus unfilled positions in government. CSE cannot open those vacant positions. It is the head of agency. That's why I am encouraging the heads of agencies, please fill up, open and publish. Huwag na ho tayo magre-reserve ng mga posisyon.
The virtual job fair will be open until September 24, Friday. JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Some essential workers are considering leaving New Zealand to look for other countries like Canada, where residency is a much more streamlined process with the recent opening of its borders. New Zealand government suspended expressions of interest selections for the skilled migrant category last year, prompting migrant workers to leave the country to gain residency elsewhere due to delays in processing times. Residency applications are prioritized for those earning more than $112,000 or who are in registered professions like teaching or nursing or even real estate agents. Some immigration lawyers said that even if EOI did open back up, it might still take up to 3 years to gain residency on a priority list. As of September 13, almost 13,100 skilled migrant and residents from work visa applications needed to be allocated for processing. That included people currently in New Zealand. Both the United States President and U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations have raised their concerns about the 2021 United Nations General Assembly turning into a COVID-19 superspreader event. Marvy Delphine will tell us why live. Marvy?
President Joe Biden and U.S. Ambassador to the UN Linda Thomas-Greenfield are worried that the world leaders attending the UN General Assembly held in New York City are not following the city's vaccination protocols. Ambassador Thomas-Greenfield, in a press conference on Friday, stated that all measures must be followed in order to prevent a super spreader event.
That we are concerned about the UN event being a super spreader event, and that we need to take all measures to ensure that it does not become a super spreader event. Every single visitor coming into the United States, they're all required to show proof that they've had a negative COVID test.
NYC's protocols strictly require individuals attending indoor activities to be vaccinated on top of providing a negative test result. But the world leaders are reportedly not abiding by these rules. Specifically, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, who has refused to get vaccinated, will be attending the assembly in person. Another leader clashing with the protocol is Russian Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia, who called the requirement discriminatory. Despite the negative feedback, U.S. authorities claimed that the protocols remain in place. Thomas-Greenfield added that she sent a message urging speakers and leaders to send recorded videos for the 2-week event. However, more than 100 presidents, prime ministers, and leaders are still expected to give speeches in person. Elsie?
Marvi, are there other precautions in place to prevent a COVID-19 super spread during the assembly?
New York City opened a pop-up swab testing and vaccination site at the UN headquarters. The attendees of the 2-week event can get free tests as well as a single dose of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Attendees entering the assembly hall are also required to declare that they are all vaccinated, but are not necessarily required to provide evidence for it. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Marvi Delphine. An international rescue group that provides immediate support to those most vulnerable in high-impact areas experiencing disaster, war, and conflict is calling for donations for 2 of their active operations. Nina Armilio tells us why.
The international community and United Nations agencies are keeping a close eye on the Taliban forces and their conduct in Afghanistan. In the now troubled country, many Afghans and foreign workers and nationals, including Americans, are now trying to evacuate. Now, an international rescue group is up for the task to assist in the evacuation. The Humanitarian Aid and Rescue Project, or HARP, is headed for Afghanistan for Operation Skybox. According to HARP founder and President CEO Burt Bryant, Operation Skybox provides secure transportation and relocation to refugees experiencing persecution from Afghanistan to a third country, ensuring their protection against refoulement or forced return. And in order to accomplish that, they need donations.
It's extremely challenging for my organization. It's always been extremely challenging to raise donations. Reason being is because we aren't an organization that hands out tangible items. We're not handing a bottle of water to someone or a load of clothes or shoes. And I think a lot of society has been conditioned to see that as the process of, or the only process of relief and aid. The difference between that and our team is our donations go directly into the field to help the operations that we're running, but that money is put into things like equipment that's needed, communications that's needed so that the people can get out.
Bryant says despite the challenges before, during, and after their operations and missions, helping those in need is already part of their lives.
We understand times are tough right now. A lot of people don't have the money that they used to. We understand that. We are funding most of our operations right now out of our own pockets. And we go, we spend our money to run the operations, we come back home, we grab a job, we fill our pockets again with money, and then we go out and do it all over again. So it's a constant cycle process on our end. But with donations, it allows us to move much faster.
Bryant's group also has an active operation in Myanmar, rescuing Rohingya people from persecution and atrocities, being a minority group in Myanmar. To join HARP's cause in their missions and operations, the ways to donate are through cash, cryptocurrency, and Amazon Smile. Visit their website harprescue.org for more information.
I've got one bullet hole in me now doing this work, and I've been knifed twice doing this work. God protects us, and we believe in God, and that's why we put our lives on the line constantly for other people.
Nina Armilio, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The first all-civilian space flight, called the SpaceX Inspiration 4, splashed down off the coast of Florida after orbiting the Earth for 3 days. Ruth Bahe tells us why live. Ruth?
Good evening, Elsie. The SpaceX Inspiration 4 that orbited the Earth has completed its mission to show the world that space is not just for astronauts. A space historian at the University of Chicago, Jordan Beam, commented on the success of the mission and said that this is the beginning of the private space tourism industry. SpaceX quality engineer Andy Chan welcomed the Dragon crew of the SpaceX Inspiration 4 through a live stream splashdown coverage Saturday.
SpaceX's welcome home to planet Earth. Your mission has shown the world that space is for all of us and that everyday people can make extraordinary impacts in the world around them.
The spaceflight capsule landed safely at 7:07 p.m. Eastern Time just off the Atlantic coast of Florida, where the mission was also launched. Jared Isaacman, a billionaire CEO who sponsored the spaceflight, went through a training to command the autopiloted Dragon in case it is necessary. He was joined with 3 crew members: Simon Proctor, a geoscientist and artist, an aeronautical engineer Chris Sambrowski, and a physician assistant Haley Arsenault. The group kept busy while orbiting the Earth 15 times a day, with Haley Arsenault conducting medical research on the health effects of space radiation. The SpaceX Inspiration 4 mission is the first to orbit the Earth voyaging above the ISS. However, with the growth of space industry, environmentalists will pay attention to the carbon emission costs of every flight. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Ruth Bahe. Queensland, Australia's Garden City Toowoomba lives up to its name as it celebrates its 72nd anniversary of the Carnival of Flowers, the longest-running floral event of its kind in Australia. Maeve Dog will give us the details live. Maeve?
LC Toowoomba, Queensland is in full bloom once again, with 190,000 flowers across the town's parks, creating a canvas of color to celebrate the spring season and its community. The month-long celebration features food and drinks festivals, music programs, arts and crafts, carnival rides, and sightseeing tours. Mayor Paul Antonio welcomed the spectators of the event and expressed his pride for the iconic tradition.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the 72nd Floral Parade, and there's tremendous history and pride in this community as a result of that. Toowoomba is a beautiful place, and there's nobody can underestimate the power of flower, and encourage everyone to embrace the goodness of spring and all it has to offer.
Return of Toowoomba's iconic Grand Central Floral Parade, which was only done virtually last year due to the COVID forced break. 59 floral floats escorted by street performers made their way through the heart of the city. The floats were created by local businesses and community groups to promote their services and strongly show the presence of various cultures in the city and its neighboring regions. Environment and Community Committee Chair James O'Shea, a part Filipino, highlighted the significance of the support received throughout the years for the parade.
The Grand Central Parade has a rich history, leading right back to the very first parade on the 21st of October 1950. Now, Grand Central have been a valued partner of this event for over 20 years. We greatly value this tremendous support for this iconic flagship event within the Toowoomba Carnival of Flowers program of events.
Organizers have estimated more than 60,000 spectators for the floral parade and 15,000 official attendees for the food and drinks festivals. After enduring tough restrictions across Queensland due to COVID-19 outbreaks, families who made their first trip to Toowoomba took the event as an opportunity to put the pandemic to one side. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Maeve Dog. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening. Salamat sa Diyos.
Proverbs. Chapter 17, verse 9. It says, "He that covereth a transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends." And those are the reasons behind the news, September 20, 2021. I'm Herlene Delgado.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I'm Angelo Castro III.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Kinakailangan na nating mag-pilot ng face-to-face dahil ito po hindi lang issue ng
Edukasyon, issue na rin po ito ng health, mental health ng ating mga kabataan at issue na rin po ito ng ekonomiya kasi baka meron tayong henerasyon na mawala dahil wala po tayong face-to-face.
We will take steps and we already are in touch with the appropriate authorities because we will not tolerate it, at least in education.
I think we're beyond that already. We extended a lot of courtesy to them, a lot of invitation to talk, but despite of that, hindi maganda yung mga naging respond. Tapos publicly, marami ng mga sinabi si Senator Pacquiao at criticize yung administration.